Now what did you do?
There we go. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry. That was my mistake.
It's an indie.
That's okay.
Indie radio board.
Yes, we are new to this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm new to it.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much for calling, letting us talk to you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure you are busy in between a whole bunch of stuff.
Absolutely. But I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm able to talk to you guys. So thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Tell us about a few of the things you have going on right now.
Well, between some wrestling shows, I have a couple photo shoots that I'm doing and a couple top secret TV stuff I'm working on, so I'm just a little busy.
I hear you. That sounds pretty awesome. A lot of stuff going on. And you got your Twitter and Instagram for those of you who want to follow along. But I love women's wrestling. I am new to the wrestling scene, but I really found a love for it through watching, Divas and the Bella Twins, the reality show. Mm-hmm. What made you want to be a female wrestler?
Yeah, wrestler? When I was a kid, my dad was watching. I was like maybe 9 years old, and my dad kind of had WWF on at the time, and he'd always kind of just sit me down and be like, oh, come watch this with me. It was a kind of like daddy-daughter time for us. So I remember sitting down and watching it, and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Like, I instantly fell in love with wrestling. And it was one of those things where back then they just didn't have that many female wrestlers. So for me, it was more so I just fell in love with wrestling, and I was like, I want to do this. And even though I didn't see that many women until years later, I was like, I want to go and do this. I want to do what the guys do. I think it's super fun. I wanted to have all the cool matches, and obviously since then I've wanted that even in my teens. So I saw it at a school, and I started on that dream.
How would you explain the difficulties as a woman in this industry? Because there are difficulties in every industry for women that we've been fighting for decades and decades and decades. How would you explain it in your business?
Yeah, so you know what, you're not wrong. So I started back in 2009, and then I took a bit of a break. So I'll kind of talk a little bit about the changes I've seen. Like when I first started, there was still a lot of the whole diva search stuff, or some bra and panties matches still, and maybe the women weren't given opportunities that the men were at the time. So it was kind of difficult even on the indie scene to go out, and the crowd still kind of viewed some of the women's matches as a bathroom break, or it just wasn't taken as seriously. So it was always hard to try to you want to market yourself, especially when you love wrestling as a wrestler, right? And to get through to the fans and have them respect you as much, you really had to put the work in. And what I notice now, especially since the women's revolution back in 2016, is that I feel like there's been such a shift in women and the respect they get in the ring. And so many women have been able to prove themselves in that they're just as athletic as the guys, and they're just as entertaining, and their matches are worth watching. So I feel like it's better now. You'll always have the fans who just want to see the women because they look pretty, which we do, a lot of us do. But there'll always be a little bit of that bias. So there are definitely difficulties, but I think slowly but surely there's so much more respect for women now, which I love seeing.
And the level of skill required to perform has increased as the need to have a bigger and better show. How do you change how you wrestle to conform to that?
Yeah, you know what? The skill level is definitely high. We see a lot of it, especially with bigger companies. There's some incredibly athletic guys that are able to do all sorts of backflips, etc. And I really think there's something that everyone can bring to the table. And some people are less athletic than others. Like, I'm going to be straight up and say I can't do any, like, 450 splashes or anything like that, right? So for someone like me, I try to, do my best with a lot of character work and just be entertaining for the fans and really kind of think of fun ways to incorporate my moves, my style into the match. And I always try to kind of think of something unique that fans haven't seen, or just kind of, instead of keeping it basic, like, how can I make the basic stuff more entertaining? So I try to always kind of keep up with who's doing what can I do to make myself stand out, and I try to focus more so on the entertainment aspect of the fans as opposed to, trying to do some crazy flippy moves.
You want me to talk, little K? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading some notes, but Nikita, it's definite in what you say. There's been a shift in the market. The women's wrestling is super hot right now. It's super athletic. The women basically are main eventing shows at this point, having their own pay-per-views and whatnot, and it's hot here in the Niagara region as well. And this is something we wanted to talk about, was the upcoming Neo Pro Wrestling show, which you will be a part of, facing Casey Spinelli. And I don't think you've worked at Neo before, have you?
I have not, no.
Yeah. So there was a gap between Neo a couple of times, and we just had our last show. I believe it was in May. Round robin tournament for the women's championship. Casey Spinelli defeated Silesia Sparks. And have you ever faced any of these two women?
Yes, I have wrestled Silesia. Silesia and I actually started wrestling around the same time. We trained in the same facility, so we've wrestled each other a very long time ago, and we've wrestled each other multiple times now, so I'm very familiar.
Yeah.
Casey Spinelli and I have wrestled each other once before, and I really enjoyed wrestling her, so I'm very much looking forward to having this tournament and wrestling Spinelli one-on-one. I think that'll be really fun. I've only wrestled her in a tag match before. So I think this tournament's going to be super fun. I love that there's a little rule set going of, whoever has the most points kind of moves along. I think it's going to be a really fun tournament, and I think you can't really go wrong with Silesia and Spinelli in the tournament. So.
No, you can't go wrong with Silesia and Spinelli, but Silesia is out at this point, and Spinelli is in, and it's interesting you say you've had one match with her in a tag, and what's interesting is the knowledge and the experience coming from Spinelli, and where'd you come from? Superkicked, I'm assuming? Is that where you trained?
No, I trained at Squared Circle Training.
Oh, at Squared Circle. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they were around in 2009, but yeah, just as qualified. So, I mean, you're going to get one hell of a good match here as far as the women's match between Nikita and Spinelli. And are you ready for it? I mean, it's probably a dumb question. I'm sure you are. But how do you train for this? It's Casey Spinelli.
I'm very ready.
Yeah.
Spinelli's great. Like you said, she has so much experience, and I've been watching her. I've looked up to her and her style, but believe me, I train behind the scenes like no one else.
Yeah.
My physical performance is up there. My nutrition is up there. I'm training. I'm putting together moves. Like, I think this match is going to be something for the fans to definitely tune into, because we're going to put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, I definitely think so, and everybody has seen your name around the indie scene. I mean, you've been busting it every single show and killing it, and I think this is what's going to be interesting, especially if it's not... I mean, if you haven't worked with her one-on-one, this is going to be a first time at Neo, really. And I'm sure you're going to come up with firepower. Maybe she gets one on you. I don't know. She's pretty smart when it comes to being in that ring. But it will be quite, I don't want to say upset. I want to say a victory if you do take one, and advance in that tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? I'm ready. I am going in there prepared for a victory, and I'm ready to show everybody that I've been working extremely hard, and I'm going to take that belt.
Yeah. I mean, we've had quite a roster of Neo history as far as the women goes. We had Cherry Bomb, Courtney Rush. We've had Angelina Love, Tracy Brooks. The list goes on. And I think you would be a great addition, especially as the women's champion, to be on that roster of women at Neo.
Absolutely, and I would be honored to be mentioned along any of those names. All of those names are amazing women, very talented, and I'm looking forward to being one of the newer ones that join the ranks of Neo champions.
I think that's incredible. I think there should be more than just one match every show.
Well, many people have said that.
For women's matches, because... I don't know. I'm getting bored of the men, and these women are bringing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, a lot of interviewers would be like, okay, so what are you going to wear to the show? But I want to know if you're going to have a special move that you're going to be bringing out to get right on Casey Spinelli.
Oh, I have tons of special moves, let me tell you. I am going to make sure I'm going to hit her with the break your face and break Spinelli's pretty little face. That's my goal.
Break your face, Casey Spinelli. It sounds like you're in huge trouble as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it really does because I've been waiting for this because, like I say, I've followed you on the Indies, and I'm happy to have you here in Niagara, and I think this is going to be one of the greatest women's matches. I think it's going to go down in history as one of the greatest women's matches in Neo Pro Wrestling.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so too. I think everyone should check it out because I know Spinelli's going to come with a hard fight, and I'm ready to give it to her.
Yes, and we're ready to see that. It's going to happen September 16th, Columbus Club of Niagara on Stanley Avenue. Go neopro.ca for tickets. Nikita, love having you on the show. It's been great. And we
need to make sure that she plugs all her platforms so we can find out more information and get a little tidbit of your character.
Absolutely. So anyone can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. My handle is the same for both. It's at Nikita Wrestles, so NIKITA WRESTLES, Nikita Wrestles. I also have a website, same thing, NikitaWrestles.com. I sell some merch, 8x10s. I ship internationally, so fans can get a hold of me there. And if you check out my Instagram, I have a link to a YouTube page that has a playlist and some videos I've uploaded. So if anyone wants to check out some of my matches, they are welcome to hit me up there and check me out.
Nikita, it certainly sounds like you got it all together.
Yes, and you're super, super busy. So we're going to let you get back to training and back to posting so we can follow you.
Yeah.
And, of course, get ready to break your face.
And we will see you September 16th. at Neo Pro Wrestling.
All right, let's get a little music.
Absolutely.
Nikita, I want to hear your final word for Casey Spinelli.
Casey Spinelli, get ready because I'm going to break your face September 16th.